Welcome, Justin.
Thank
So
you.
you're here alone, but tell us about your family, please.
Yes, I've my wife Meryl and I are Lifestyles members. We joined in 2018. We have three crazy boys. They're a lot of fun. Um, I am a
Hold up a little higher.
that better. All right. I am a bivocational pastor and work with immigrants and refugees, and so we joined Lifestyles to be able to fund that lifestyle.
Excellent. And
So wait, a pastor went through my seminar and wasn't that offended? I'll
I,
try harder.
I like you. I like you.
okay. And how did you find Lifestyles? You mentioned 2018. How did you end up here?
Yes, my parents are Lifestyles members. And so we were going to sell our very first house in 2013, move overseas. And my parents said, hey, don't sell it. Let us run it as a rental. And we're like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. And so we're grateful. So we let them do that. That was a huge blessing for us. And that has changed a lot of things because it was a crazy good deal. And so when we came back from overseas, my parents were like, hey, you should join Lifestyles. And we're like, I don't know, it's risky. We don't have much money to invest. Like, it would take too long, blah, blah, blah. And my parents are like, tell you what, for Christmas, we're buying you the Financial Freedom Seminar. So they really kind of twisted our arms. And the first experience we had with the first house was so good that we were like, okay. Then we did the Financial Freedom course, and we're like, oh, this is too good to pass up. So we jumped in.
So even though your parents were members and successful members, they still had to twist your arm to get you here.
Yeah, we were scared.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are scared. It's risky. A lot of this sounds too good to be true. Like, you can't seriously have made $100,000 on a 20,000. It's all true, guys. So
I can relate to your parents because I've been a member for 7 years. I've retired. I have a 35-year-old son who I'm doing the same thing, pulling and trying to get
give him my number.
Well, he's joined.
Okay.
He's bought 2 houses, but that's all he's done so far. So, but maybe we need to have you talk to him.
Happy to do it.
Okay, so you found this house, and it was recently rehabbed, so you didn't have to do any rehab. So we don't have any real before pictures here.
That's right. That's right.
So these are just some of the after pictures of the house. 13th Avenue, I believe that's in Texas City. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one of the kind of secondary markets here for the people live stream. And so we just kind of quickly go through the numbers. It's had an appraised value of 156. Even though it was recently rehabbed, you still were able to get it for under market value.
Right.
And with no rehab and closing costs, you still had some equity in it, $3,100. Your out of pocket was $35,000, which gave you a 9% return on equity, but on a fully rehabbed property. But you're getting $515 a month cash flow, so big
That's right.
cash flow number.
That's right.
Higher than the average, which is a 17.2% cash on cash return on that. And you also have a great portfolio going here. So you have currently you have 7 houses.
That's right.
2 are the asterisks. 2 are still in rehab. You also have 2 houses in rehab. You made a statement in your information you sent me. Very early, you did 2 houses, and what was it you said you would never do again?
Yeah, so we bought 2 at the same time. They were both large rehabs, and we said, oh, we will never do 2 large rehabs again. I didn't know that, there's the whole draw process with the hard money loan. They give you part of it after half of the work is done, or 30% of the work is done. So we're, young, new, poor investors, and they're like, okay, you need $30,000 for this house and $20,000 for this house. So we kind of freaked out. We said, we'll never do that again. And we 1031 exchanged a house we sold in October, and now we're doing 3 at a time. But it's actually 4 because... Yeah, it's actually 4 because they found a duplex on one of the properties.
Found the duplex. I
Yes.
love that story. They found the duplex
Yes.
on the property. So you went out and you bought a single family home, and hey, surprise, here's another unit here.
Yeah, that's right. So we hadn't seen it. We worked with Moon, and Moon, gave us the information, sent us some pictures. I went out there. It's all overgrown. It's just a dump, and. Yeah, I went sweet. So then we had the surveyor come out for the lender, and he sent me an email saying, what do you want to do with this property on the back? And we said, what do you mean? He said, there's a 1-1 add-on to the garage, the separate garage. What do you want to do with it? And I'm like, oh, hold on. Let me call Moon. Let me call the rehab guys. And we decided to make it a duplex. And then I was really scared about that because I don't want to break any laws of like, making something a duplex that was a single family. Anyway, we're out there with a landscaper and he's, giving me a bid for removing like 15 or 20 trees. And he's like, hey, you see that? And it was an electrical box. So it's metered for 2. So it was already a duplex and the seller just didn't know it.
Okay.
I think it was inherited.
Yeah, so you were reluctant to get in. Now you now have 7 properties 3 years later, and you've pretty much done everything Lifestyles teaches. You've bought a property, you sold it, and you took that equity, you put it in other properties. I think you've refinanced the property.
We have.
And taken that money and bought other properties. But initially you pulled money out of your retirement.
Yeah, we had a little bit, but we liquidated everything
Liquidated.
to get into Lifestyles.
You liquidated everything, sold the property, did a cash out refi, and then you've done a 1031, which David will teach if you don't know it. You take the proceeds from one property and you bought 1 or 2 more properties tax free.
That's right. And so we bought a house right after Harvey. It was a big house. It was a flood house, 7 or 8 feet of water in it. I don't remember. I think it was Tracy Farquhar that sold us this house.
Another one of the Lifestyles agents.
And she did the quest for us. And she said, this is going to be like a $82,000 equity capture. And we're like, oh man, that's incredible. So we jumped in, and then like, there's always things that scare you and things are slow or, stressful things. Anyway, we sold it in October and the equity capture was 83.5. And I'm like, and that was 3 years ago. I'm like, man, Tracy, you were on point. Like she just, saw into the future. So she was right.
So now when you get these last 2 finished in the rehab, you're going to have $37,000 of additional income.
Bless the Lord.
Annual income. and with the current houses you have, not counting these last 2, which you don't know yet, you have $183,000 of equity, and you've also the sell property and the pulling out, you have additional equity you're already reusing.
That's right.
Currently you have $183,000. So in 3 years, that's a great job of producing these kind of numbers. So give them a hand for that. So,
guys, you have to realize that's like he gave himself a raise of $37,000 a year tax free. Wouldn't that be like a $60,000 a year job if you think about it when you pay the taxes? Give him a hand. That's huge. That's huge.
I do have to say something. It's my wife and I as a team doing it. I do all the face things with people, and my wife does all the numbers and details. So we make a good team together.
excellent. And yeah, that's right. Give them a hand for that.
Her name's Meryl. She's great.
And this is important because I always say, I did this, I did that. So my wife gets mad at me because we have company names for all our different apartments. So one of our company's names is It's We Not I. So I get that, LLC.
And I love on David's Facebook, he'll say something about I, and she'll say, she'll make a comment on the Facebook, and I'm thinking, I don't want to go home if I were you, David. But one of the reasons you were kind of slow to get started, or reluctant to get started, you weren't slow at all, you were reluctant to get started. In the information you sent me, you said you came into it with a poverty mindset.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that, what that means.
Yeah. So the poverty mindset is thinking or assuming that there is not enough. There's not enough good. There's not enough good to go around. We don't have enough. Like that's a core thing. It's like living in fear. And Dell is the one that I heard this from. Like you can't have a poverty mindset. That doesn't exist. If you seeing these deals, like I don't, get mad or frustrated when I hear, oh man, they got a great deal. I'm like, that's incredible. Good for you. Well done. Like I want to, tell me more about that. I'm excited for them because they're not I'm not fighting against them. I don't lose if they gain. So that was a pretty incredible thing for us to hear, and it's changed a lot. So, and that's also it's a mindset that keeps kind of creeping back. So I gotta still fighting it, but it's been really really good.
I think you did a fine job of
Thank
fighting
you.
it. And on your team, so Jennifer Peters, was the one who brought this house to you, but you worked some other realtors also along the way.
Yeah, Jennifer was great. She got the Texas City house. Elizabeth Bruce, she helped us at the beginning a whole lot. Did a lot of calming our fears. Sorrel, I've probably emailed you 30 or 50 times.
More the merrier.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, Elizabeth was a former mentor, and she retired again from Lifestyles about a year, well, 2 years ago, I think now, and she's now one of the top-notch lead investors. So she's putting her time in other places right now. And then JR was here tonight. He was the inspector you used, and no rehab, no contract because no rehab was needed.
Right.
So I love your story. So tell us about what's next now. So
Okay, so yeah, we started with a very small snowball, and it's rolling now. So we want to keep buying single family homes, and then when a house gets fat or has a lot of dead equity in it, we want to either sell it or cash out refi, and then get into passive multifamily as soon as possible. So I'll be back soon to tell some case stories of some multifamily deals, hopefully. And then I might have an actual vacation. But ultimately, I want to have everything passive so that I can keep doing the work that I do and not need to take a paycheck.
yeah, that they are some different business and different types of things talks about the why, and you have a very important why, and so. And it's really driving you. Justin has given back in multiple ways. We do a single-family road trip. There's also multi-family road trips. Justin hosted a single-family road trip a couple of months ago, was it? And so that's when we bring members in and we can see a house that a member has purchased. We go through the numbers, and so Justin's already hosted a single-family road trip, and now he's presenting a case study. So he's to be watched. He's a rising star.
And if you need any help or any questions, I'm happy to. I'll have lunch with you.
Here's something cool I want to do really quick. Remember back when you were skeptical and you thought we were full of crap and all that stuff? Look at it. There's some new people in the room. They've never been here before, so they're skeptical. What advice would you give for those new people that haven't been to a seminar yet? Because it's different when you come to a seminar, you hear how to do it step by step, and then you go, oh, now it makes sense, instead of the crazy numbers you're seeing tonight. So what advice would you give for the new people?
All right, you're probably scared. That fear that is gonna hold some of you back. You can go back to any of those number pages. Oh, don't let your fear let you miss out, right? Like, yes, it's a little bit risky because you don't have total control of everything. Maybe there's a hurricane, whatever, but it's such a good deal. It's such a good program. Just push past your fear point and you won't regret it. There's been probably 50 things that we've freaked out about. This house happened. Oh no, we don't have a renter. Oh no. It has always worked out for us. Even when things don't go the way we want, it's still worked out for us in incredible percents.
What's the line you use? You sent me first you were worried and you had the freak out, and now?
Yeah, now everything's cool. If someone calls me and says, hey, a plane crashed into your roof, I'm like, oh, sweet. Take pictures. Like if a tenant texts me at 10 o'clock at night, they're like, hey, there's water leaking through the ceiling. I'm like, okay, cool. Send me a picture. And I send it to one of my guys and they go out and take care of it and send me a bill. And I have money to pay for it. So I'm not freaking out about it, and it takes me 10 minutes.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions for Justin? You covered it all.
Great.
Any questions from the live stream? Oh, man, you're good. You covered every single thing. Oh, there's a question back there. There's a mic behind you.
How long it took the rehab in average for every single home?
This one didn't have a rehab.
Yeah, so the pictured one didn't have a rehab. I did install a dishwasher in that one. Average rehab right now, I've got a huge rehab going. So it was the one that they found the duplex. They also found 556 square feet of attic space that could be turned into livable space. So we're doing that too. So that's it's the gift that keeps on giving. That one, they said 2 months for about $100,000 worth of work. That's a huge rehab.
That's a little bit of a growth. You can do
Yeah.
Well, we just kept. It was going to be like 40,000, and then they're like, "There's a duplex," and we're like, "Oh, yeah, let's do it." And then it's 70,000, and they're like, "Oh, there's 556 square feet." Okay, well, yeah, why not just do it all? Just do it all. So,
and he's not just doing it to do it. He's doing it because it's going to increase the value of the home, plus the cash flow will double or triple because of that.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it looks like it will at least double, but we don't know yet. But I don't care because it's gonna end up being really good. And then there's another house that we're doing, the one that we did the road trip to. That's about $31,500 rehab, and I think it's going to be done in a month. So J&B is doing that. They're blazing fast.
Yeah.
And
I think
How much work are you doing on that one?
zero. Like
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
but Cambria is available if you need her.
Yeah, no, I visited today.
Collecting coins right now.
I visited today and I was like, oh, did we tell them to take that garage door out? Okay, cool. That's cool. Like, I don't even know what's going on there.
There's another question over here.
When you once you buy a property and you start the rehab, how much time do you spend?
The question was, once you buy a property and you start the rehab, how much time do you spend at the
Even though
property?
you're not doing the work, how much time?
I like to visit a couple times in the beginning, and then I text the contractors pretty regularly to see if they're on track, if there's something we need to change.
Are you visiting every week, every 2 weeks?
Maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, something like
Are you
that.
checking on the contracts every 2 weeks? He's getting pictures or giving reports so he can kind of see what's going on.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
Justin's experience, you've worked with some of these contractors before.
That's right.
On your first property, you're probably going to be visiting, once a week, probably.
Right.
You will work with you on that on the initial schedule on your first property, but he's experienced now. He has 7 houses. So,
That's right. And one of the beautiful things is we use Lifestyles vendors. And so if there's a problem with the vendor not doing what he's supposed to do, I tattle on him, and I'm like, hey,
And here's one step further on this. He has a hard money loan, so we'll get into this weekend. They don't give him the money up front to fix the property. They send out their inspector with like 20 years experience, make sure the work's done before they give him the money to pay the contractor. Who likes having that second set of eyes? So see, even if you're from California buying here in Texas, because we have people doing this all over, he just happens to be here. But remember, I have people all over doing it. Okay.
that's right.
okay.
More?
One more question we got.
Yes. Blue
Star.
Star is one. J&B.
The name of the GCs for the people in the room. That were,
J&B is the other.
Okay. One last question back here.
You found any extended rehab times on any of your units?
Did any go over time on the properties, or were they pretty
Because
much
of
in
lack
line?
of material that they can.
Yeah, because you were doing stuff during COVID. Did you have any materials where they slowed down, or?
No, we haven't run into any big time lapses.
Right.
But if we did, I'd just say, you can't find that? Well, use something else.
Great question.
Okay. Well, let's thank Justin for being here tonight.
Awesome. Thanks so much.